Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get into it. So yeah, we're using the life equation framework. Just a bit about that, but let me get to this slide so we can talk about it. So really what we are wanting to address and actually find solutions for is, if you've ever felt, I felt this, I can confess, felt like I needed to act like someone I am not in order to fit in. If you've ever felt like that, like, oh man, I'm not good enough as I am, I need to tweak and change in order to fit in with the community that I'm perhaps in order to fit in with society, this is going to be very helpful. If you find yourself frustrated because, majority of your time is actually spent on things that you do not care about, things that don't even matter to you, and so we want to uncover what actually matters to you. And then if you're finding yourself with majority of your relationships actually being quite draining more than they give you energy, okay? We want to be able to assess so we can find the balance that we need in life, okay? So now talking about the life equation framework, how this came about was a result of me feeling all those things that I just spoke about. The idea of, man, something is just not fitting. Seeing same patterns happening over and over in my life, feeling like, why do I feel like am I just working on the wrong things? Nothing is working out. Am I just putting my energy into things that are not aligned with who I am, things that are actually not for me? And so, so the life equation framework came as a way for me to say, no, I think I need to question everything. Okay, I need to question myself. I need to question the way I make decisions. I need to question my self-perspective. And that's how the life equation came about, okay? And I'm glad you guys are finding it at this time where it's well-defined, as you will see as we go forward, because for me it was not. It was not, and I needed to sit down to figure these things out and really just get to a point where I'm able to define it as well defined as it is, okay? And so in us doing this work, this inner work that we want to venture into, we are ultimately going to create clarity about who I am as a person, clarity about what my purpose, my unique purpose is. Guys, do we feel like we are clear on what our unique purpose is? Unique purpose. Why am I emphasizing this unique? Because I definitely believe we, because of the life experiences we've gone through as individuals, those experiences were building something in us. There are certain sensitivities that you have as a person because of the things that you experience. And so because of those things, then you are able to be passionate about one or two things. You are able to have something that is not close to someone's heart, be close to your heart. And you are therefore able to find your purpose in thinking of ways to navigate and bring about solutions for that thing, So, and of course, as you are doing all these things, as you are getting to know yourself and, align with who you are, you will naturally end up with being your authentic self. It will come to you naturally. Because I have clarity on who I am, I've created the balance that I need in life. I have clarity on what my purpose is. I'm able to step into the world as my authentic self and therefore embrace authentic living. All right. So that's how that came about. Right now, we're just going to look at the formula. This is not technical, okay? It's not technical. We're still talking about life. But this is the formula that I came up with as I was thinking of all these things. And really, we're going to be looking at these 4 pillars where T is intentional time, your time, V being your values, connections, and societal noise, okay? And L representing life fulfillment. And I think it's good actually for us to maybe pause and take a moment to think about, what does life fulfillment look like to you? What's a fulfilling life for each person? And for me, as I thought about it, still the same stuff we spoke about. I spend a lot of time, to be honest with you, trying to figure out, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Because nothing I did felt fulfilling. There hadn't been a single job that I've done that I was like, yeah, this is my thing. This fulfills me. It makes me feel like I have purpose in life. Okay. And so the life fulfillment, we're talking about having clarity on what you're doing in life, clarity on who you are as a person, having that purpose, that unique purpose that we just spoke about, creating the balance that you need. You're not finding yourself investing too much time on one thing when maybe out there in the world you're great, you're this employee or this boss who's doing amazing things, but at home you're failing as a husband, as a wife, as a mom, as a daughter, whatever that is. Okay, so we want to be able to create that balance in life so that we are able to excel in different aspects of the roles that we play. All right. And of course, like I said, we do want to encourage that authentic living, which is going to come naturally as you find the balance and the fulfillment that we are trying to get in life. A bit about the formula before I delve deeper into it. Your T and your V, that intentional time and those core values are very important, and they are going to go hand in hand with one another. Okay, as you are sitting down and you're making time to figure out, hey, who am I? What are things that matter to me? Those things are going to go hand in hand with one another. And thank you guys for joining the live. I hope we are all following through. If you have any questions, please reserve them until the end there, because we want to go, we want to run with the thing, and then we'll be able to attend to questions. Okay. So now we're looking at our first pillar. Remember, we are focusing our attention on the first 4 pillars that we slightly spoke about. And we are now going to delve a bit deeper into that. And so we are thinking about intentional time. Okay, let's leave the intentional for now. Let's just think about our time, whether we admit it or not. I think many of us, especially, I don't want to say black people, but many of us, we shy away from the idea of, I have a schedule. But if we were honest, we all function on some type of schedule. Okay, we all function on some type of schedule. That, okay, Monday to Friday, at this time I have to be at this place. At this time, I have to be doing this with this person. At this time, and then after that, I'm home. I have to cook. So naturally, you draw up a schedule for yourself, okay? A routine that you follow on a daily basis. Okay, so we want to look at that to think about, is the things that you're doing on a daily basis, are these things that are important to you, all right? Is your time aligned with who you are as a person? Right? Aligned with the things that you actually value. And I know many of us will say, hey, man, I need a job. So, of course, my time is taken up by the job that I have to do. But yes, I understand that. But what about after that? What about after that? Are you actually spending time on things that are important to you? One thing that remains true is that we make time for things that matter to us. If tomorrow I woke up and I said, I want to become a doctor of what, and even though I work until 6 p.m. and I'm home and I have to do this and this for my kids and my spouse, I will make time for it. Whether I sleep at 1 o'clock, I will make time for it because it's important to me. And so we want to think about that. Are you making time for things that are important to you, things that are actually going to help you progress as a person in life, not just with the material, but just also your personal growth, the inner work that you would be doing. All right, so where does your time go? This is a question we're asking ourselves, and does it reflect who you are? Speaking of which, as we're looking at our pillars, I do have a guide and a worksheet that's available on my website. And the guide really just explains the formula that we are talking about in a bit more detail. And as you are delving into each of the pillars, the guide helps you think around that, okay? And the worksheet is very practical. As we are thinking about intentional time, it's going to ask you, okay, let's think about your routine, your schedule. Are things that are in your routine, things that you actually care about. And then there are boxes. If you're a checkbox kind of person, like I am, there are boxes for you to tick out, and it will then prompt you to think about other things and think of ways in which you can ensure that your time is indeed intentional. Speaking of which, I just realized there's something I didn't mention. You know, when we think about a formula, the way a formula works, we know that we are set on having the left actually equal and balanced with our right side of the equal sign, right? My English bundles. We are set on those things balancing. And so if one variable in your formula is not balanced, then the whole thing becomes unbalanced, right? Okay, so that's intentional time. You're really just thinking about, am I spending my time on things that are important to me? And then moving on, we are going to be looking at our values. Hey, you want to spend a lot of time on this one. This is a very important pillar, okay? This is a time for you to actually sit and think, who am I, right? Who am I? You're thinking about your identity as a person. And if you feel like I'm at a time where I actually am not clear on who it is that I am, this is also a good time to imagine who you want to become. Okay, imagine who you want to become and think of, this person that I'm imagining, what would be some of the things that matter to them, right? What would be some of the things that are important to them? And one thing, as I went through this transformation journey, I thought thinking about values would be hard. It would be, I really have to think a lot. But actually, to be honest with you, many of our values are right there in front of us, but we miss them. We miss them. For example, with me, a value of mine is authenticity. Okay, it's something that I value. It's very important to me. But because as I think of my old self, as I look back at the person that I was, who was still playing a role as soon as I stepped out of my house so that I can fit into society, I remember those moments where it was clear in my face, man. There would be times where I would dread going out, like, I don't want to. Why? Because I know as soon as I step out, I'm playing a role. I'm being fake. I'm not being my authentic self. And so the idea of doing that, it just drained my energy. But I kept doing. Because why? We're trying to fit in, right? I kept doing it. So authenticity was there. Even the type of conversations that I enjoyed were those deep conversations that actually let me know what's happening with another person. These are the deep connections where I felt like, yeah, man, I can be real with this person. They can be real with me. And so I enjoyed that, and there's a level of authenticity that comes with that, okay? But yeah, I mean, things like that you just miss. So one doesn't really have to search a lot to find out what their values are. I mean, something as simple as your social media can actually help you figure out what are some of the things that matter to you. I mean, the things that matter to you don't have to be big or deep or all the time. For example, my FYP thinking, it's full of baking, baking, and I'm a DIY girl, so I'm getting to, we're encouraging self-awareness, right? I'm getting to know myself. So even yourself, as you're looking at your or even the things that you save, right? The things that are actually resonating with you, they can tell you a bit about what you value, right? Guys, I know one might be tempted to go and sit with, friends and maybe try to hear who they think you are, right? But I would advise that this is a time for you to learn to listen to your own voice. It's a time for you to learn to listen to your own voice. I think, especially for us who are coming from people-pleasing backgrounds, right? Performing backgrounds because we don't know ourselves, we don't know our worth and all of that. Take time to sit just by yourself in solitude and figure these things out, because nobody knows you more than you know yourself. Yeah. Nobody spends time with you more than you spend time with yourself. So nobody can tell you who you are other than yourself. Okay? Think of this, guys. You know, as you're going through all of this, think of this, okay? There's a, what is it now? There's a show called Interior Chinatown. I thought it was very fascinating. I love the concept of it. And to give you a gist, it's on Disney Plus, you know. To give you the gist of it, so there's script writers and there's characters. And what we are doing is watching the characters. And these characters, at some point, they say, man, something is off with this life we're living, right? It seems like there's certain things we are prohibited from doing. And they begin to realize that, no, someone is actually writing my role for me. And so I am living within the bounds. You know, when you think of a box, I'm living within this box that they have written for me. And so even when you think about our mental conditioning, because what? Life happened. Our mental conditioning, our self-perspective, we ourselves put us in a box, all right? We put ourselves in a box because of the things that we've experienced, the mental conditioning and those limiting beliefs as well. And so what we are trying to do is to challenge that, okay? Especially with the values. We're trying to challenge that. And you think, another example, you think about your inner child, you know, your inner child, that child that you were who used to dream big things. You know, you used to dream big and there were no limitations, right? Because everything seemed possible. You could become an astronaut if you wanted, you know. If your mom said, she's so clever, she can become a doctor. You said, yeah, mama, I can, right? That child that we tend to abandon as we get older, as we become adults, and we are then bound by those conditionings and the limiting beliefs that we take and make part of our identity. That's where we're trying to get back to remember who we were before we thought of ourselves as not enough, you know, not worthy and all of those things, right? So we want to try and go back there and remember. I enjoyed that exercise of actually trying to remember who I was before the conditioning that I took and made part of my identity. And it was quite fun, I'll tell you. It was very fun. So yeah, your core values, you're sitting and spending time and you're trying to figure out, you know, are your daily decisions aligned with what matters most to you? Okay, and with the Interior Chinatown example, so in the series, once the characters are therefore aware that someone is writing their roles for them, they try to break out of that. And that is ultimately what we're trying to do, right? Same thing, if you've watched the movie The Matrix, hey, I'm not trying to be... You know, I know people talk about it, the fifth dimension, I don't understand that stuff fully. But, you know, when you think about the Matrix, we are trying to break out again of the way in which we see ourselves. We're trying to break out of that. So why do I keep mentioning this? Because as you think about your values, please do not limit yourself and think of your values based on who I am today. Okay, who I am today is probably held back by many limiting beliefs. So we want to think of our values as who we believe ourselves to be, okay? Or who we are trying to be, who we are envisioning ourselves to be, all right? Because again, we are trying to unlock our true selves, and our true selves are full of potential. Our true selves step into their power. Our true selves are confident. Okay, and I am a testimony of these things because, like I'm saying to you, I'm coming from that background. People pleasing, not knowing my worth, not knowing who I am, not using my voice or thinking my opinion is, well, stupid, to be honest. Okay, and so to be able to stand here and talk to you about these things, and am I not the right person, you know, to be here talking about these things? Because why? My life experiences. So I'm talking to you about something that I'm passionate about, something that I have lived through myself and have come out on the other side to say, oh, no, actually, I changed my mind, I'm not that person. And you know what? It's possible to get to a place where you are confident and you know who you are. Okay. All right. Values. Hey, we spend so much time on values. So now we want to move on to meaningful connections. My favorite topic. The company you keep, guys. The company you keep is actually very important. It's very important. I just posted a video not too long ago talking about, many of us, we keep relationships in our lives that are actually very draining, that, try to make us feel like we're small, make us feel like we don't matter. Why? Simply so that we can appear as normal functioning human beings in the face of society. Okay. Example I gave is that, we're happy to say, oh yeah, I'm friends with so-and-so from Cratch. We're still friends. We've been friends this whole time. But if you were honest and you're thinking about relationship, you might find that you find it very draining, okay? When that friend calls you, you roll your eyes because, not you. Not you. No, not you. No, what do you want now? You know what I mean? But when you are with others, you're comfortable and you're happy to say, yeah, no, I'm still friends with someone from Crash. Why? Because it's giving you that appearance of, no, hey, this person, they get along with others, right? They're normal functioning human beings in the face of society. But I'm saying, what for? What for? What's the point, guys? What's the point of all of that? What are we trying to prove, really? Okay? But anyways, let's delve into... So we're talking about deep, meaningful connections. Some time ago, I actually went on the streets and I was talking to random people, just asking about deep, meaningful connections. And I gotta tell you, what I got out of that is that many of us, we desire this. If not all of us. We desire relationships that... affirm us, relationships that make us feel like we can be ourselves, relationships that make us feel loved and accepted, where we are free to be our authentic selves, guys, and it's accepted, it's encouraged, and those people are willing to be there for you. So we desire those type of relationships. And so this is a good time, therefore, to sit and ask yourself and actually assess the relationships that you have in your life right now. You're right? Are these relationships that are supporting or suppressing your authenticity? Okay, and in the guide it will give you, steps to take, and also in the worksheet, as you are thinking through all of this, to think about relationships that are actually giving life to you. Relationships that are bringing light to your life, relationships where person is not trying to put you down. No. Right? Person is actually encouraging you and trying to uplift you, right? And you want to sit and think about those things and see where you want to pour majority of your energy. Where am I going to pour my energy? Into the relationships that are meaningful, okay? They're deep, they're meaningful. We actually talk about real stuff. It's not shallow. It's not we're just passing time, but no, these are meaningful. Now, with that said, this is not a one-directional transaction, of course. We are, in as much as we want others to be there for us, we also want to be there for other people, right? We also want to be a light to other people. We want to be encouraging other people. And so then it's a good time for you to sit and assess what you can handle. Okay, the relationships that you are being a light to and you find that they are actually draining for you, it's time to sit and think, okay, what can I handle? What can I take? Right? And set the right boundaries so that you're still able to be there for them, but it's not harmful for yourself. Okay, what can I handle? This person, every now and then they say things that are demeaning to me. Every now and then they say things, but you know what? I can overlook that. I can overlook that. It's fine. Yeah, it doesn't really affect my mental well-being. I can overlook it and still be present in their lives. And some relationships, sadly enough, as you're going through this journey, some relations are they're just gonna fall away by themselves. Why? Because people have maybe gotten used to you being a certain way, and now you're suddenly changing your mind to say, oh, no, No, that's not who I am. I am getting off this train, and therefore I have decided I'm this confident person. I stepped into my power now. This is who I am, and therefore maybe then you won't be aligned value-wise with those people, and they will just fall away from themselves. But you will also be figuring out, take it as you're creating your list, you'll be figuring out, oh, actually, yeah, here, let me pour energy. Here, let me draw back a bit, right? And yeah, things will just happen naturally. And yes, it's painful. It's painful because we are used to doing things a certain way. You're used to having certain people in your lives. But, as you're doing this whole process, it's going to be hard to let go of certain people or to draw back as you need to. Okay. All right. Something came to mind as I was talking. Now it's gone away. What was it? I don't remember. Okay. So you've done that. You've assessed your relationships. You've actually seen where you need to invest most of your time and where you need to drop back a bit. And this is important, guys. As you are trying to find that fulfillment, you are clear on who you are. You're spending your time on things that matter to you. You also need people. No man is an island, right? No man is an island. We need people, and so we want to ensure we have the right community, the right people around us who are going to love and support us and accept our authenticity. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Societal noise. Yeah, guys, can we even identify societal noise in our lives? Pressures and expectations that don't even come from us, but they come from society. Okay, but before we delve into this, I do acknowledge, and I'm sure we would all agree, we are part of society. We create the society that we live in, right? And so if you want to see change in society, it has to start with us. It definitely has to start with us. So if I am saying I want to see authenticity, which is not necessarily something that is supported in society, then I have to start being more authentic, right? When I step outside my house, let me not play a role. Let me just be real. As I go out there, and hopefully that will encourage someone to return the same, as I am treating them as a real person, being authentic and all of those things. They too would want to in turn become authentic and real with me. So that's clear. We are part of the society, and it needs to start with us. Whatever changes we're hoping for in society. Okay. But yeah, here you're sitting and you're thinking about whatever pressures you feel, whatever expectations. An example I'll give you. When I turned 30, I thought to myself, yikes, I failed, man. I have failed as a person. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not, career-wise or financially or any of that. I feel like I've failed, And maybe you look at your socials and some 20-year-old just bought their first house. So yeah, what are some of the expectations and the pressures that you feel that come from society? And I'm mentioning this thing of turning 30 because at some point I had to sit down and ask myself, wait, well, who said 30 is the benchmark for having it all together? Where does that even come from? Is it something that's from me, or is it something that perhaps I saw outside, the external in my society that I then inflicted on myself to say, yeah, by 30, Edwina, you need to be 1, 2, 3, you need to have this and that, okay? So yeah, so that's really what we're trying to figure out. It's not easy to identify societal pressure. Awesome. Continue following those people. But if it's not that, if maybe seeing those things is actually leaving you feeling like, I'm such a bum, I'm such a failure, then maybe it's a good time to unfollow. Okay. Some time ago, I actually went off the socials for some years. Yeah, for a couple of years, because I realized after I spent that time on the socials, I came out of it feeling like I'm not doing well, I'm not good enough. Because sometimes maybe you're seeing friends and friends are doing things and you are not invited. Things like that can bring about hurts and all of that in our hearts. And so, think about that. What are some of the societal pressures that you feel? And society doesn't necessarily have to be outside your house. Okay, there are some pressures that we put on ourselves as family members that, no, man, you're supposed to be a manager now. You're supposed to be this, okay? And maybe you find that you're creative, like me. You're creative. And this is the path that you're supposed to follow, okay? But others don't necessarily understand it. So as you're getting to know your values, you will be able to stand in your truth and be unmoved in who you say you are, all right? So here it's really up to you to decide, am I silencing or am I minimizing the noise from society? Because there are some good things that come from society, okay? You meet certain people and they're encouraging you in this and that. So those are things for you to decide for yourself. But I will tell you, when I went through my own transformation journey, when I started, I actually needed to self-isolate. That's what worked for me. I'm not embarrassed or anything by it, That worked for me and it was great. I thought to myself, goodness, why haven't I done this? The idea of being able to say no. Because what? I sat down and I said, actually, there's many things that I do that I don't want to do. For example, Saturdays for me are a day to be with my husband, to be with my children. Okay, we can be here in the house, it's fine, I enjoy that. As long as we're together, we can be out there hiking, wonderful, I enjoy it. But Saturdays, hey, I was busy going to the baby shower, going to what. Yeah, you want to support people, but man, I literally dragged my feet every time I had to go out, because Saturdays for me, I really enjoy being in the house. Maybe it's part of my upbringing, Saturdays will be at home, and so I learned to enjoy that, right? Of course, we are evolving and growing as a people. It doesn't mean that it will just be like that because your upbringing was like that, right? So I've learned to be intentional about that, to say, no, I'm going to do things that I actually want to do. I'm going to learn to say no. So even this idea of self-isolating and saying, I want to hear my own voice, it felt strange to say no. Again, with that people pleaser performing background, you see it. So it felt strange I'm saying no to things because I don't want to. Yes, and that's it. It doesn't make me a bad person. Society as will say, oh, you're so selfish. You think, okay, fine, I'm selfish. Consider me selfish at this time. But yes, I'm going to sit and actually figure out who I am. All right, I'm going to learn to say no because I don't want to do that. It doesn't align with who I am. All right, so yeah, it's your choice. What external pressures keep you from being yourself? Even as we're thinking about that idea of fitting in, it can be in the workplace. Many places, man, we're trying to fit in. Even with your friends, you feel like suddenly now you have to buy what's his name? Wearing the jean. Wearing the jean. Yeah, ball bottom. The ball bottom jean. What's his name? He just performed now at the Super Bowl. Hey, Kendrick Lamar. Yes, now my friends, this is what they're buying now. I feel pressure to buy that because this is what's trending at the particular moment, So really think about those things to say, no, I need to learn to listen to my own voice because I know who I am. And I truly believe as you have done the work, especially with your values, as you have done the work to figure out what your values are, your identity, society will not have so much power over you anymore. Okay, you will not be so easily influenced as you step out into the world. You will not be allowing people to tell you who you are. No, you'll be confident. Say, this is who I am. Thank you very much. And you will speak your truth, and there will be no apology about it. Of course, speaking with great love and respect for other people. But yeah, that's where the authentic living will come into play. Okay. So this is our last pillar. I hope it was very informative and helpful as you think about your own life and creating balance and all of that. That this actually helps for you to be able to iron out, to say, okay, you know what, with this pillar, I need to give it a bit more attention. I need to focus on this a bit more. Okay. So as I'm leaving you, I just want to leave you with some reflection questions, okay? And the question will be, do you feel clear on who you are? I think definitely this is the first starting point, okay? Your identity as you're thinking about your values, right? Do you feel clear on who you are as a person? And you knowing who you are informs all of the other pillars that we've just spoken about. Okay, does the way you spend your time reflect who you are? Does it? And then, are your relationships draining or giving you energy? That assessment is needed. Okay, can you identify societal pressure in your life? Okay, so for this life, I really just want to introduce the life equation framework and leave you guys with it so you can chew on it as you're thinking about these things in your own life. And next week, we're actually going to look at practical ways in which we can apply this in our everyday lives, right? So I hope you do come back with questions. I've already created the live. All you need to do is register for that same time, same place. Right? And I think it's going to be a nice one. So please do come with questions that you might have. We're still going to try and keep it within 40 minutes. Yeah. 40 minutes. We're still going to try and keep it within that. I'm leaving this here so that you can, jot them down if you need to as you are thinking about all of these things during the week. Okay, I'm just going to check something here. Okay, wonderful. All right. So let me also just go back so you can see the formula that we're talking about, where life fulfillment is equal to intentional time times our core values plus meaningful connections minus societal noise. Okay. But if you do want me to send you this, I'm happy to do that. Free of charge. Okay, I'm happy to send the presentation to you so you can have a look, and as you think through everything, you have some reference point. Okay. So you can DM me, and then on my website, I think, just send me a request. Just send me an email. You'll see it just now. And then also the reflection questions if you don't have them as yet. And like I said, next week we're going to be looking at the application as we are thinking about the life equation framework and also unlocking our true selves. Because hey, we're done playing small. Amen. We're done playing small. We're not about this life of, doubting ourselves or not being confident and feeling like we're not enough and all of that. No, thank you. No, enough with that, okay? Let's make a conscious decision to say, I'm getting off that train. Thank you very much. I have let limiting beliefs hold me back for far too long, and I'm ready to step into my potential, step into my power, and become who I truly am, okay? All right. So if you want to contact me, my website, it's in the bio. Yeah. It's in the bio, Edwina Ragwala, that's my name and surname, .coza, because we're in South Africa. And then my email, and I'm on the socials, guys. I'm on the socials. What's missing here is LinkedIn, which has been a bit neglected, but I'm everywhere. But, follow where you follow. Let's engage. To be honest, I love TikTok. I feel like I get good engagement. I get to actually be exposed to the audience that I'm looking for. So I really enjoy. That's why lives are happening here. But someone suggested I do lives on Facebook. Skeptical. But we're looking to getting that done, okay? Instagram is a beast I do not get, so thank you very much. All right, I'm also on YouTube, and I'm going to upload this video. Am I gonna get, yeah, I'm gonna get this video. I'm gonna upload this video on my YouTube for you to look at. So do let me know again if you want me to send you the presentation. My email address is hello@edunaragala.co.za. And then next week, sign up, please. We are ready to talk about application as you think through these things, and I do hope you find the time before Friday next week to think through and chew on the things that we spoke about. I really appreciate you guys so much for joining. This was so much fun. I'm already looking forward to next week. And if you have questions that are really burning within you, please DM me or email me. You know, I'm just a person. We are just people connecting with each other. Okay, DM me, whatever it is that's easier for you to do. I really appreciate that. All right. Thank you guys so much for taking time to listen to my whole presentation here. I enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed as well and are coming out of it enriched. All right. Until next Friday. Sharp.